Speak.
Well, listen, if you're at the theater in Tacoma at the Grand Cinema.
Okay.
That's
he
where
did it. He did it.
That's where the Tacoma Film Festival will be held. Come on down, hang out with us. If you're there, you'll see us live. If not, look for the episode. Hopefully the next day. It will depend. It will really depend on my bandwidth, but I'm hoping to put it up the next day.
And it will be.
We're lucky to have Max. We're lucky to have Max in between dog sitting and everything else that this guy does on top of running the Chatter Network. So that's great.
Yeah, that's right.
Dogs are important.
Will there be an episode of Hey Footballhead, or will it be an episode of Excuse the Intermission?
That'll be ETI. That's ETI business. But
okay,
but
it's all on the network. It's all
on the network. And if you're multifaceted and you have your hands in different cookie jars, hopefully you're watching movies and playing fantasy football all at the same time, right?
For sure, yeah.
Blaine, what about you? What's going on?
Honestly, I've been on lockdown. It's kind of been like pandemic 2.0 over here. We had a little puppy incident and just been like making sure that everyone's, I see a dog in your background too there, Maxo. Other than that, summer's been, kind of dwindling down, but been getting out flying, doing some paragliding and just kind of enjoying the days as they come. But yeah, kind of it's winter's coming. I feel it. Got some rain today in the Northwest. Felt good. Kind of freshened things up. But yeah.
Hey,
I'm locked into the season. I'm gonna say that.
It was dark. It was dark this morning till
it was dark and it was dark early. Yeah, but
I was up early on the waiver wire.
The waivers, man. You got to be up on those waivers. Yep.
We will get to that.
I see the names in the feed.
Oh yeah. I was like, who can I pick up for Greg Dortch at 4 a.m. and then I wake back up at 6 and Max has got him.
Got him. And hey, another waiver. Yeah, we'll pick up on waiver wire moves. I think
absolutely.
This is the first week I think there's been actual moves made on the waivers that mean
100%. Yeah. I want to make sure that I get this out there to everybody, all the homies in the league. I know I've already invited everybody on the Chatter Network, but October 22nd at Mi Casa. Halloween party.
Uh-oh. Hey, this is on YouTube, bro. This is on YouTube right now.
That's fine. I trust. Big trust. My address is already out there in too many places.
Give out the address then.
No.
Where's
we gotta let people sleuth. Hey, sleuths out there.
Right. Right. No, that's a good
live?
question.
Yeah,
that's
we're live on
we're live. Oh, yeah. Damn.
Where is Chun? Chun, we hoped would be on here tonight. He would have been a great one to get a life recap on because big changes are coming in Morgan Chun's life here soon. So he's living up these last few days of single dad life, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah.
Impromptu dinners happen.
Yeah. We'll give him a pass. He doesn't use his calendar, so he doesn't know what that is.
He doesn't know how to use text message threads. This guy, he's a man out of his age. He's born in the wrong time. Chun would have thrived in 65, I
think. Where you had to spin the dial.
Yeah, he had to set his watch every morning. And then get on his boat.
That's amazing.
All right, so for the homies, the reason why we wanted to do this is we miss you guys and we want to know what's going on. So hopefully, if you are watching this live or once you listen to this, just it doesn't have to all be fantasy football smack. Like we miss you guys. The draft party attendance was a little light this year because people have stuff going on.
It was ugly.
Yeah.
Blaine wasn't there.
I didn't even go.
One of our own.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
So come out to the Halloween party. Come out to the Halloween party. We're gonna have another Chatter Network Christmas party. This December holiday party, I should say. So show out. We miss you guys. But for now, we have some power rankings to get to, and I must say, our esteemed commissioner, who is also absent tonight, he's been on it this year. These power rankings are dropping late Monday night.
Monday night. I thought it was an error on ESPN. I thought it reposted because it was so early.
Yeah.
But no.
No, he is on it. And we have a fun little wrinkle this year too, where he's going backwards from 12 to 1. So you build that anticipation as you're scrolling. I like it.
I feel like that was like a thing that, you know, like the MLB added new rules to the
Extra innings
pandemic
and
ball.
stuff.
Yeah, I like it. I hope it sticks around for next year.
Same.
I saw my name up at the top this week, and I was
Yeah.
Well,
like,
let's start.
I was like, oh, number 1. Oh wait, no, that's
no. Let's start there though. Yeah.
Got him.
And so for those who don't know, in our league, our commissioner writes up little anecdotes about how our teams have performed the week prior and kind of forecast things going forward. And in the 12 spot, which is dead last, we have Captain Kirk, who, you know, normally you're a regular season aficionado, Max. You get it dialed in early and often, but not so much this year. So what's going on?
No.
Team stinks. Team stanks. It stunk. Team stinks.
So
I had a terrible. I drafted. I don't know. I was out of my mind.
Well, one thing that Max does, just for people that
acid? What are you
don't
talking
know,
about?
yeah, exactly. He does acid before a draft.
He does a lot of acid.
He's a non-studier. He doesn't do mock drafts. He goes in lucid. He goes in there with an open mind, has no idea what the fuck people's names are, and just drafts off the dome. So how did that work out for you this year so far?
Obviously not so good so far. Listen, I had high hopes.
Do your homework.
I had high hopes for Najee Harris. I thought he'd be way more involved, having Trubisky as your quarterback. I thought we were going to pound and ground the fucking ball in Pittsburgh. But I don't know. I don't know if Najee's on the block. If anyone who in the league who's listening right now,
who
please.
Isn't on the block on your team?
Actually, yeah, every single player on my team is on the block, including Devontae Adams, who has been fantastic. Got him in the second round, but he scored a touchdown every week. But my team's weak. My team is weak, and I deserve to be 12. I told Tim to put me 12 last week, and he didn't. And
you had to earn it, Max.
Yeah, I earned it. Yeah, I might be skunk again. I might be a 2-time skunk.
And I like Tim's comment to finish up your little recap where he says sometimes the bottom is where you're the most free. So you know what? You got nothing to lose right now, so let her rip, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's why we're up at 3:45 a.m.
Yeah.
Fucking picking up players, dropping players, fucking picking up, out
of your mind on the waiver wire.
I was reading everything. I was an insane person.
I love it. Okay, so next we have the reigning skunk boy redemption, Matt Legg, clocking in at number 11, a season high. Still wasn't above 100 points though, so a lot to be desired from his roster. He's sitting at 0-3. Russell Wilson as his quarterback, not getting the job done. Position players aren't averaging what they need to average. Skinny CeeDee can't hold on to the ball. We've been having a lot of fun with CeeDee Lamb when watching these Cowboys games. So yeah, it's tough sailing right now for Matt. Next is Colin at the 10 spot. Colin came down to a Monday night showing and could have actually sneaked out a dub against Camille, who we'll get to a little bit later. It was Tony Pollard versus Ezekiel Elliott. And basically what had to happen was Zeke had to outscore Pollard by about 7 points. And sure enough, they made a battle of it. And there was some dramatic action, especially in the fourth quarter when the Cowboys threw a 1-yard fade route to CeeDee. He made a great catch, helped his stat line, but I thought that was going to be Zeke time. Max, you and I were watching it together, and that would have swayed the matchup right there. So tough break for Colin this week. He's 1-2 and going to need to have some overhaul with his team for sure. Nick clocks in at number 9. Penny, for your thoughts. 2-1 record. So, you are what your record says you are. But the inconsistency, the unconventional wisdom that he always has behind setting his lineup, I think, is a result of not wanting to put him any higher in the ranking. So tough break there.
There's a little bit of a personal grudge there too, right? I mean, Nick called him out
so.
in the video, in the draft day video. If you haven't seen that, go check it out on YouTube.
And on every podcast.
And on every podcast. Red said Tim was the worst player in the league. Right. So, I take that with a little grain of salt. I think Tim's trying to, make a statement there. He's trying to make a statement.
And then we have, I actually misspoke earlier. Matt does not have Russell Wilson as his quarterback. That would be Jordan Keffler in number 8. Mr. Unlimited is his team name. He's 1-2. High score for the league this week, which was great. Gotta get your first dub some way, and that's a great way to do it. So we'll see if he can start to gain some momentum. Last week, I know that there were some questions on the podcast about, has Derrick Henry had a good game or what have you? But
have you heard this stat about snow in Vermont and Derrick Henry's production?
Wait, what?
This is why you have all these titles.
So there is a stat, or there is like a line where like, if it is snowing in Vermont, then like Derrick Henry will have a good game. And like the day this happened, or like Saturday, it started snowing in Vermont. And then like Derrick Henry had his first good game, which was like what Jordan needed. And like also Mark Andrews had a great game too. But
how long does this stat go back?
I don't know. I just heard it like as commentary, and I like looked it up, and it was like, in fact, it was like snowing in Vermont, like Saturday, like before the game. And like Derrick Henry had a game. So, hey, you know what? We cling to what we need to, what we can to make this all make sense and feel good. So that's one of my little nuggets.
Well, and Derrick Henry got very involved in the passing game too. I think he had 58 receiving yards plus 5 catches. So you love to see that if you're a Derrick Henry manager this year. The commissioner staying humble, keeping himself in the 7th spot, knocked himself down.
Low score of the week.
Yeah, knocked himself down 1 spot for that low score.
We're hoping for that again this week, Tim.
I've owned Tyreek Hill in the past in multiple different leagues, and even with the Chiefs, this is what you're going to get from him sometimes, is these games where he gets you 3 catches for 30 yards. This last week, I think it was 2 catches. That plus Darren Waller combined for 5 catches. Or excuse me, no, Waller's not. I'm thinking of a different league. But regardless, Tyreek Hill, poor week.
He picked up Tyler Higbee, who got him like okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But still not what he wants to see from somebody who he needs consistency out of. Plus the running backs. He even
consistency. Austin Eckler, needs more work.
Okay, so cracking the top 6 now on the plus side of things here. Damn it, Bobby is 2-1 and is looking pretty good, looking like a good playoff caliber team here, especially if Devin Singletary can all of a sudden have a consistent role in the Bills offense. Add Chase Edmonds to that same conversation, and some later round running backs could provide a lot of value for Bobby's team. So he's got to be feeling good about that. We'll really see here tomorrow night on Thursday if Joe Burrow and the Bengals have found their stride. If you got to get right against anybody, it's the Jets, right? And they looked pretty good last week. Not as many points in the second half, but still.
Don't ask the Browns that, all right? The Jets have a good defense.
Absolutely.
Have a good defense. They keep them in the game.
Yeah.
If Joe Flacco can find I guess it's Zach Wilson now. But
yes, Zach Wilson now. But
are they starting him this week?
I believe so.
Oh, wow.
What I'm saying, though, is the Bengals played well against the Jets this past week. And so Burrow's got to be feeling good. And now going into the big showdown against Miami on Thursday night, that'll be a big test to see both where those two squads stand. Blonde Bombers, Lewis's team, still high in the rankings despite the 1-2 start to the season here. I was sweating. I'm not going to lie. I was sweating on Monday night. It came down to his Micah Parsons and his Saquon Barkley versus a locked score for me. And all he needed was 30 points between those two. And if Parsons did what he normally does, I probably would have caught an L. But for whatever reason, he was gassed and on the sidelines a lot, which, just shout out to the IDP. The IDP's almost never done me wrong, even when I'm playing against one. But so that was an interesting situation there. Lewis's team, though, still a ton of firepower. And on the bench, he picked him up late last week. He has Trevor Lawrence. And in 4 weeks, maybe even in 2 weeks, we might be looking at Trevor Lawrence as a potential league winner. I mean, he could trade Justin Herbert away, if you ask me, and try to deepen his roster somewhere else. And probably ride out with Trevor for the rest of the year.
And still maintain the namesake.
Absolutely. Great hair. Yeah. Great hair on Lewis's team.
Blonde Bombers. You're saying New York definitely shut down Joe Mixon too last week for, the Bengals. So
we have a request to talk about the number 10 ranked Ball Hogs team. Once again, I will just say Colin, you can fire this back up on YouTube once we're done, but
he's live right now.
Scrub back.
Yeah, but once we're done, he could go back if he wants to stay current. We gave you some credit because Zeke almost pulled it off for you on Monday
Collins
night there.
Has a good team. I owe him a bottle.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
A ball?
A bottle.
A ball.
Blaine, let's have you talk about the number 4 ranked Chubby Chasers because you faced them in a tough matchup last week.
Buddy.
Almost. I mean, you did script a victory for Morgan, and he just didn't want to take it.
Yeah, if you, all you perennial listeners who just can't wait for this to come out every week. But if you remember last week, I told Morgan to play James Robinson. I said that's the play, and he had AJ Dillon. AJ Dillon scores 4.8 points. Robinson 19.1. The difference in our game was 11 points. So, math, and Morgan would have won the game. So I didn't call it. I wasn't trying to do reverse psychology. I was literally and behind the curtain, I'm trying to trade for that player now. I want James Robinson.
I do too.
Team.
Hey,
I think he's a great pickup at RB. He's in his lineup for next week. So I think he, tasted the bitter root, and now he's moving forward. I chose my team. I was surprised at the win, regardless. I'm always going to choose me, but Morgan's team is strong, and best team he's had in a decade, maybe. I don't know. It's funny because he says that he doesn't like his team, but maybe that's what he needs. He needs a team of players that he can forge to his will. So not a dark horse. I think he's going to make the playoffs.
Wow, bold call.
Come on.
Okay. 0-3. Come on. he's got your spot.
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
Tim has the Rogue Scrappa, which is myself at number 3. I'm really riding the strength of Jalen Hurts and a lot of floor performances, I feel like, so far. I mean, Deontay Johnson has 33-something targets throughout the first 3 weeks. So he's getting volume. Michael Pittman was back healthy, getting volume. Josh Jacobs gets volume, and Leonard Fournette gets volume. So hopefully these guys can start to boom and I can get my point totals up, which will probably have to come into play here later in the season for points for tiebreakers and things like that. You always want to be scoring. So, yeah, I'd like to see my point totals. Even though last week was 123, I'll take that, the entire season. But we're the defending champ. I need to let people know that it's a 130 deal if you want to compete with me. So hopefully we can get to that. At some later dates here in the season.
The league has been put on notice.
Oh,
yeah. And then in the 2 spot, Blaine, yourself, And Devontae
Max-
Smith, the old
Max-
namesake.
Max, what do you think? Let's break down number 2 there.
Listen, I'm trying to trade for every fucking player on Blaine's team. All right. Blaine is a master of finding just the nooks and crannies and just a nice little piece of chocolate right in that nook and cranny.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's good at drafting. He's good at finding those hidden players. Blaine, what else can I say? You took fucking Pat Mahomes, your boy that you let go last year. You brought him back. He's doing you good so far.
He belongs here. Yeah. No, yeah. I freaked out. I was with Alex, and I didn't look at the matchup, for hours, and I had swapped in Devonta Smith, because I think Keenan Allen was out or something. Or
one of your namesakes.
I put him in there, and then my app didn't refresh, and I was like at like the Seahawks game, and there was like talk that Devonta had gone off and had like a touchdown, and I looked at my app, and it showed him on my bench and me having like 24 points to Morgan's like 60, and I was like, oh hell no. And I was like taking screenshots, like I was about to text the commissioner and just be like, this is a mistake, like, but then it all fixed itself. But happy I put him in, happy he's doing well over there in Philly.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Alex, you're muted right now.
I swear we podcast all the time. And you needed every point, so that was good. That was important.
I needed not to start Robinson.
Yeah,
that's what I needed.
Yeah. And then in the top spot, it's Gritty Boy Swag, Camille. He is undefeated at 3-0. Lamar Jackson went off for him last week. His pass catchers are always going to get the job done, despite 2 poor weeks from Justin Jefferson. So, once he gets things turned around, the Vikings play in London this week. So I expect every skill position player on both the Saints and the Vikings to really show out. Camille's going to be a tough out every single week. I think he's rightfully in the number 1 spot. He has depth. His bench is always scoring. The league, that's who the league should really be on notice of. I think that Camille is probably the early odds-on favorite right now to grab the 1 seed.
Now he has Khalil Herbert, who's a bell cow.
Yeah.
He has a bell cow.
Yeah, super bell cow now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he told me today. Super
Herbert's
bell cow.
Yeah.
It is interesting. Already in week 3, we have 2 backup running backs, who were definitely drafted as handicaps, as handcuffs, that are already going to turn the tide. I mean, Jamal Williams in Detroit is now going to get the Lions' share of the carries with Swift out, and Khalil Herbert. Yeah, you like what I did there? Khalil Herbert is definitely a proven commodity for the Bears. So
and even though they shows Cook has the green light, Madison is a strong play.
He's getting lots of carries.
Even though because Cook's shoulders hurt, he's going to be wearing the device this weekend, so hopefully that'll help him. But yeah, I mean, draft your handcuff unless you're in our league where our handcuffs get drafted in like the 5th, 6th round.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex, I want to take a minute to do a podcast within a podcast here. We'll call it Odds Maker. This is Odds Maker. Welcome to the Odds Maker podcast.
Hey, welcome to the Odds Maker.
Yeah, bring your cash. What are the odds on Lamar Jackson being MVP this year? Because he has gone off now for 2 out of 3 weeks.
Yeah, he was a trendy MVP pick coming into the season. If you were gonna, take some odds on this, because the whole contract situation, and especially right before the season started when he decided that he was going to bet on himself, and now. Yes, he'll probably get franchise tagged this upcoming offseason and potentially even the season after that if he still tries to hold out. But yeah, you can anticipate Lamar as long as he stays healthy, wanting to cross the ball into the end zone as many times as he can. Guys like Devin Duvernay are going to benefit from that. We've already seen Mark Andrews have a big boom game last week. Rashad Bateman is a quality starter. Once that running game gets right, that Ravens offense is going to be real scary because, I think right now, Jalen Hurts is in that conversation. Lamar Jackson's in that conversation. Josh Allen's going to be there all year, of course, but those are probably the three guys right now that I'd say, and there's little whispers back here, maybe even further back.
Yeah, who's a long shot?
Tua, baby. Yeah. Dolphins are 3-0. 3-0
and MVP. Put $10 down. You'll be rich.
Yeah. I like this. We'll be back with more odds maker talk.
Yeah, this is the end of the Odds Maker podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like and subscribe.
All right, but now Blaine, Sir Statistics. It is your turn to talk about the waiver wire.
It's crazy. These aren't statistics. This is just this is the first week of when I looked at the waiver wire this morning after the action that happened over the night, I was actually surprised to see mostly Captain Kirk and all their changes on the waiver. But yeah, you we had, I think, maybe our biggest transaction, maybe our second biggest transaction, and this is where you come into the picture, Alex.
Yep.
Was it Romeo Doubs?
Yep.
Romeo Doubs. What sparked a $15 take on that? 15% of your fab. Was it 14?
Yeah.
My morning eyes saw 15.
Yeah. So with Romeo, he's a guy that I drafted this past off season in a dynasty league of mine. Okay. And so I've been high on him for a while, and season long, I didn't know if he would have as much juice going forward because they also had Christian Watson, but it's pretty clear after 3 weeks that Dobbs is the one you want to roster. He had a big week last week, fumbled the ball, which worried me because Rodgers is kind of like Brady, where if you're a rookie and you mess up, he might not go back to you. But the wide receiver situation in Green Bay right now being what it is, he did go back to him, and he continued to have a good week. I think 16 or 17 points in half-point PPR last week. And I see that being very sustainable going forward. So with my wide receivers being right around in that scoring range as well, he becomes an instant flex option for me now the rest of the season. Probably leapfrog someone like Hunter Renfrow on my personal depth chart with my
who's
team.
Injured right now?
Yeah, and who is injured. Exactly. Yeah. So as these bye weeks start coming up here within the next after this week, we have buys coming up. So He was somebody that I wanted to lock in. I know we have some big Packer fans, one in particular in this league. So the dollar amount was what it was because I wanted to make sure I got him. We were talking the other night, Max and I were, along with another league member, Nick, about how it would be pretty cool if you could see what the other, and I think we've all mentioned this, but if you could see what the other bids were for a player.
Yeah. Well, I'll say that I put in $1 on Dobbs. I didn't think that there was going to be much traction. I know that he had a big week, but it was like a boom week after week 1, week 2, sub 10 point, and then he had his big boom. And I just know that Rodgers throws it around a lot. He's kind of like that guy that doesn't really, if you're not, like you said, if you drop the ball or you're not consistent, he's not going to trust you unless it's game script. So I just threw in $1 just to see, but so I saw 14. I was surprised.
Yeah.
The way I looked at it. Did you?
So there was money out there for him.
Yeah. The way I looked at it too was that, we've all talked about how we want to be more mindful of how we spend our money. I'm hoping that I got a guy here that I can put into my flex. Everyone else stays healthy, and that'll be it going forward. And I can sit on this 70 something dollars that I have,
Other remarkable or like trades or acquisitions that are like top of mind here. Tim with 2 tight ends, dropped one, Logan Thomas, and picked up David Njoku for $8. Had a big week could be a part of that offense.
That's buying the hype. No, that's buying the hype.
Yeah, I have Njoku in another league. I drafted him, but might have been able to pick him up for free on that one.
Probably.
Zay Jones was another guy I put in $1 for, and Skunk Boy Redemption got him for $6. Went above that $5 mark, got that $6 just to make sure you get that next tier. I feel like it goes in like $1, $5, $10, and then when you see like $6, $11, it's like you're trying. $14 is interesting because it's like right under 15, so you're going max but not going to the next tier.
That's right.
I like that. And then Captain Kirk's whole team is on sale, so
whole team
likely to trade, which is helpful in the league, right? Because we like to see that. We like to see people's profiles updated.
Bring me the trades.
And then dropping here and there, lots of defenses. Okay. I think situational things, but those are the highlights right there.
The commission's not on the pod right now, but he's going crazy in the comments about Njoku. Guess what, Tim? He's gonna get you 4 points this week. 4 points, Tim. And then you're gonna lose to his 0-3 team, Tim. You're losing to an 0-3 team. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
I'll take the over on that. So I'll take so you're taking 5 under for Njoku. I'll take 5 over for Njoku.
Okay, let's do it.
Want to put a beer on it?
Yeah.
Water bet?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
See you next week.
I do want to give
Put it on the board.
I do want to give Morgan a shout out because he had called someone picking up the Eagles defense last week. And on waivers, I spent like $5 to get them because their rest of the season schedule is pretty cush. And they ended up getting me 18
and they're
points.
playing pretty good ball right now too. So.
Yeah, they're turning the ball over. They're getting to the quarterback. And then Max, you kind of followed suit, and with your team, you went after the Jaguars, which are kind of doing the same thing here right now.
Yeah, so
picking up a few more points than you'd like to see, but
this week might be a loss for the Jags defense going up against Philadelphia. But the next 4 weeks, I believe, are Indianapolis, Houston, Denver, and Las Vegas.
Yeah, you like that.
And they're a number 5 defense, and they were. I was able to pick it up for free. So I like the future of that. Even if I go 0-4, I'm just looking for any sort of win down the road at this point.
Yeah, and then Lewis went after the Vikings, Kamish went after the Broncos, and Morgan went after
Bobby.
the Browns.
Bobby, I got your bottle, by the way. It's in my
Bobby
car.
Bottle Service in the chat, everyone.
Bobby Bottle Service. Whenever I see a Bobby, I got your bottle for you.
And I'm sorry if I missed this, but did we talk about Max going back to the Chuba well one more time?
I love it.
Listen,
I love it.
Christian McCaffrey
that's 3 years.
Out today with a hamstring.
Yeah,
out today with a hamstring. Okay. Yeah.
And Matt's in the middle of a science lesson at 12 o'clock, not able to pull the trigger.
I'm picking him up. You never know. And they have Donta Foreman
who has McCaffrey? He doesn't have McCaffrey this year. Who has McCaffrey?
I believe Colin does.
Colin? Yeah. Okay. He's in the middle of a root canal, so.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's drilling on something.
He'll just put in Madison, dude.
Yeah.
I'll just put it in my handcuff.
Exactly.
It's a handcuff carousel.
I had to pick up someone's handcuff. I'm hoping
Camille will put in your handcuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know, Chuba. That's really. I'm hoping. I'm not hoping, but like I'm reading. The.
You got room. Hey, we'll say this: you got room on your bench, so you got room on your whole roster.
I got room on the whole team. Room on the whole team.
I imagine you're on a bus and you're just like, whatever, dude. Cut bait.
It's bad. It's bad.
All right. Where are we going next?
Let's do some previews.
Preview time. Let's go.
Max, how about you take us through this?
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
All right. You know what? We're gonna just start out with pull it up. We're gonna start out with my matchup. The Commissioners. Of course, Tim Dowling. And hey, little wrinkle here. I'm playing Tim in 2 different leagues this week. Same week, 2 different leagues. Jesus Christ, what's going on with this ad? Are we kidding? Where ESPN has to put ads in front of their fucking matchups?
Yeah.
Are we
Yeah.
kidding right now?
Oh wait, you don't pay for ESPN Plus, Max? You're not part of the
my
Disney
God.
baby?
Oh my God! Does the mouse just wants to bend me over? All right, Blaine, take me through
Okay.
my matchup against Tim in this league.
All right, in this league. Sorry, I have to look at an advert real quick. To watch. I have to watch a new.
The ads that's insane. Absolutely insane.
Okay. Commissioners and Captain Kirk. You know what? Are you benched your namesake, FYI? That's the first thing I'll say. You've picked up Jared Goff.
Yeah.
You've benched the
He's
captain,
playing the Hawks.
which I think is a great idea.
Can we pause for a podcast within a podcast? Hawk Talk.
Hawk Talk. Hey, welcome back to Hawk Talk.
Welcome to Hawk Talk. Listen, the Hawks still on track for my 2-15 record that I called out in the beginning of the year, or even before the draft. I said 2-15.
Listen, the Seahawks can play every game the way they played last week, and they'll be entertaining. They'll be fantasy relevant. Yeah, that's fine if they lose. That's okay. I don't think anyone expects them to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, they don't need to win. But, I mean, as Blaine said earlier, we were both at that game last Sunday, and highly entertaining. Good stuff.
Great game. Yeah. Fun.
Detroit's too.
Go. Yeah. Game on. Love it. Go Detroit. It's fine. As long as no one gets hurt on the Seahawks, we can lose. We have Geno Smith as a quarterback. We have, Rashad Penny, who has never been consistent, and we have, rookies on the O-line. We're in a rebuild. Pete will never say we're rebuilding, but we are rebuilding. He's always going to compete. He's always going to put his best effort out there. But in all honesty, it's hard. And so wins, I think, are going to be so sweet. That Denver win, I don't think I'm ever going to get that high about a win for the Seahawks since the Super Bowl. Yeah, that is literally the last time I felt like that. So this season is all about rebirth and renewal. And this team has grit, and this is Pete's bread and butter, building a new young team.
Here's a question for you. The oldest coach ever
Pete Carroll.
In the NFL was 73.
Pete Carroll's 72?
He's 72.
71?
How many more years does he go? 15
and a half.
15.
5. I think he goes 5. I think he's got 5 left in him. Yeah.
5 years. You think Seattle also just came out today.
And then he'll be just old enough to become a congressman for the US Senate.
Yeah.
So he can go to politics as a young buck, almost 30.
I would like him in politics. Did you hear the report today? Jim Irsay on a podcast said the Seahawks will be sold by 2024.
Yeah, we're on the block.
The owner of the Colts said the Hawks are getting sold by 2024. He doesn't know who's going to buy them, but they will be sold. The Allen family will be out.
P. Diddy. You heard it here first.
P. Diddy does not have the money for a football team.
I don't know.
He may, actually.
Why not? He's P. Diddy.
My guess is Diddy's a billionaire.
Yeah.
My guess is Diddy is a billionaire. Okay, so this has been Bad Boy Hawk Talk.
Yeah. Back to your matchup with the commissioner. Tua Tagovailoa, Tom Coughlin.
I believe Tom Coughlin was the oldest at 70. What did I say? 72, 73.
73.
Morgan Chun is watching this while he's having dinner with his family.
Yeah. Instead of being on it.
Yeah, he's looking at his phone.
Bezos will buy the Hawks for $8 million. $8 million.
Hey, hear me out, Goodell. First game on the moon. Hawks versus the Rams.
I think the Broncos were just bought for over 4.2 million or billion. I mean,
Yeah.
and that is the highest that I think any sports franchise has been bought. So the Hawks, you think the Hawks will be bought for more? Let's see what Tim says. Doesn't mean they'll leave the Seattle. I never said they would leave Seattle.
didn't say that.
Never ever said
Why'd
that.
you say that? Why'd you say that? Are you saying that because
Never even said that.
Oklahoma? You
Wow. Someone's
The ghost of Clay Bennett.
Triggered.
All right, so Tua Tagovailoa was
Yes.
seeing ghosts on the field. I saw the
end of
video.
Hawk Talk.
That's the end of Hawk Talk. P. Diddy Hawk Talk. So Tua Tagovailoa is on Tim's team. It's his waiver wire acquisition that won him the week last week.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. He got his head smashed in and he got up and fell down and got up and fell down. So
Yep.
Yeah,
if he's not in the concussion protocol, like he should be. And it'll be an interesting thing to see if he plays. His other quarterback, which is not on his team, maybe he's on his IR. Dak Prescott is not going to play either. So maybe he picks up the quarterback for Texas, who's actually not too bad. Or Geno Smith. Geno Smith has outperformed Russell Wilson this year. Fun fact. So you have Najee, Breece Hall. Breece Hall, have you played him this year? No?
Breece Hall, no, this is the
initiation?
First time, yeah.
Okay. Well, Tim has a lot of checks right now. He's got Austin Eckler, who's been down, but, we always hope that he bounces back. Antonio Gibson, who's number one there in Washington. Tyreek Hill, going to have another great game. He had a down week, but he'll have a better game. St. Brown, Njoku, he's rolling with Njoku. Love to see it. Someone picks him up, puts him in. Love to see it.
4
Miles
points
Sanders,
or under. Taking the under.
5 or under. You're taking 5 or under. I'm taking 5 or over.
Yeah.
So would that be 4.9 and I'm taking 5?
Yep.
Okay. What if it's 5? No, 5. What if it's 5 on the dot? Draw.
That's a watch.
So yeah. I like you rolling with Adam Thielen. But I don't know if he's gonna, I think they have a game in England this week.
Yeah, New Orleans. Yeah,
those are always rough. So
listen, it would be General Montgomery if he wasn't hurt.
Okay.
It's
106 to projected. It's 106 to 119. Yeah. I think the projection has it. I would love to see a Cinderella story, but I think the commissioners have this one.
So it's tough, right? Because as it stands right now, Tim is very Thursday heavy with Tua and Tyreek.
Yeah, we're gonna know a lot. We're gonna know a lot.
We will know a lot by this time tomorrow night for sure. And then also, both of you have the two most prominent pass catchers on the Lions, Max, with your stack of Jared Goff now all of a sudden. Both Amon-Ra St. Brown and TJ Hawkinson will have a lot to say in deciding this matchup too. And they were both held out of practice today, which is not a good sign. Hopefully their activity ramps up towards the end of the week. But if there's no Brown, then Hawkinson's getting a lot more targets. If there's no Hawkinson, then Brown's getting a lot more targets. You do have a little bit of the insurance there since Goff is your quarterback. A lot of sliding doors here, though. I kind of think that Max is due here. I think that the Chargers secondary and entire defense really.
Max is due. Max is very due.
Yeah. I think
he's sitting by the tub with like warm water because there's a baby of a win just like waiting to come out.
Waiting in the 11th hour.
Yeah.
And the Thielen thing is a little scary, but also I don't know really who on Tim's team is both these teams, I'm sorry, are not very intimidating right now when you look at them.
Love to hear that.
I'm sorry.
Yo, if Dortch is healthy, are you going to put in Dortch over Thielen?
I think maybe Dortch. Yeah, I don't know. Dortch has
That's a game time decision.
I like Dortch a lot.
Dortch has done nothing to warrant the bench spot so far. If you pick him up, play him, right? I don't know. Yeah, this will be tough. Antonio Gibson's going to have tough sledding against Dallas, even though I know Saquon kind of went off last week. That was really just one big play.
He's not as good as Saquon, though.
And he's not as good as Saquon, right? Miles Sanders going up against a tough Jacksonville defense, which you're starting. Yeah. I'll go with Max on this.
Okay.
Yeah, listen, I was trying to I'm trying to go off angles here, right? Like
a lot of counter punches.
I picked up Jared Goff because
Yep.
if St. Brown, gets anything, it's coming from Jared, right? Also, I have Hawkinson, so hopefully like that's gonna like make up the value there. I picked up the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, even though they're playing against Philadelphia, because he's got Miles Sanders in the fucking in the flex. And if anyone's gonna hurt Miles Sanders, it's gonna be the fucking Jacksonville Jaguars. All right.
I like it. But also Miles Sanders can hurt the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Sure. But that's the risk I have to take. I'm 0-3. I'm looking for angles. I'm trying to play. I'm playing the unders and the overs. I'm gambling again.
You know what? Great. You changed my mind. I'm going Max. All three on Max. Let's go. All three on Max.
It's not a good sign.
You just cursed you. You just lost.
All right, next let's go to kind of like this is sort of becoming like kind of a funny grudge match is Jordan versus Matt, just because neither one of them have had very good squads recently in past seasons.
Shade,
but two of like the most like
right. Yeah, they're I'd say they're two of the more savvy managers that we have in the league. They've just had really bad luck. So yeah, let's break this down. We have two very similar quarterbacks here in Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray. At least the start of their 2022 seasons have been pretty similar. And then you also have two bell cow running backs right behind them with Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry. A lot of their, season rides on those two guys performing. Behind them, you have questionable running backs, J.K. Dobbins on one side and James Conner.
This is the mirror image like competition right now.
It really is. It's tough. The advantages are going to be with Kefler, Mark Andrews almost every week. He's going to take that edge. The defensive edge probably goes. Maybe the entire specialty teams position edge goes to Matt, though, this week. Devin White and Roquan Smith, very similar linebackers. Jake Elliott and Evan McPherson, two high-powered offenses. But I do like the Cowboys matchup better versus Washington than the Niners versus the Rams, even though they do play each other tight. But that's on Monday night. That could get a little high scoring quickly, I would say.
Honestly, I think it's gonna come down to the flex position.
Yeah, the flex wide receivers.
Matt went out and got Zay Jones, right, for like what?
Plugged him in
or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You pick him up, you plug him in. Jordan's playing Chris Olave, who has he really performed this year?
Yeah, he had over 100 yards. He had over 100 yards last week.
Okay, he's gotten better every week. For sure. Zay Jones, I think, is in a little bit more of a more exciting offense. But again, going up against Philadelphia versus going up against Minnesota in England, I lean towards Kefler. I lean towards Kefler here.
I think Matt gets off the schneid here just on the strength of Jonathan Taylor being questionable though and did not practice today. I'm just reading this. That's not good. Not cool. I might swing over to Jordan as well here, even though Gabe Davis, a couple of these other guys have question marks as well. Sooner or later, Russell Wilson's gonna have a 2 or 3 touchdown game though, right? And the Raiders defense has not been good this year. So yeah, okay, I'll go Jordan.
Yeah, I'm picking Jordan as well for this week.
Hey,
who are you picking, Jordan or?
I'm picking. Jordan or Matt. Yeah, Matt's got an uphill battle going right now. You see big guys, Brandon Ayuk, Jonathan Taylor. If those guys can go off, then he'll have 140 points. But Jordan is consistency, and so I'm just going to go with that. So I also pick Jordan.
Yeah. All right. Next, penny for your thoughts versus the Chubby Chasers, Nick and Morgan. Shout out to Nick. Nick's in town right now. Having Nick around. Hopefully catch a couple of games with him this weekend and the next before the big wedding or after the big wedding, whatever the case may be. Nick's team, call it volatile, call it unpredictable, call it what you will. On paper, aside from Rashad Penny, it's intimidating. That's what I would call it. I mean,
agreed.
Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen may be the best stack in the league. It probably is. Everett's been super solid at tight end.
Cordell Patterson has been a steal at running back.
Has been such a steal.
Again.
And my goodness, let me just say, watching that man play football in person was one of the highlights of my year.
Oh my God. That's why I was so excited to go to that game.
Yeah. Just large, fast, trucking people, and
no longer a wide receiver at all.
No, he looked unstoppable. He still runs tall, like a wide receiver, but
like Derrick Henry.
Like Derrick Henry, though, right?
Derrick Henry runs tall.
Guys, these guys in the secondary do not want to tackle him when he gets a full head of steam. But on the other side, we do have Morgan with guys like James Robinson in the lineup. CEH is in the lineup, who's kind of been bouncing back and forth between his bench and his starting lineup. And then,
he has the number 1 and the number 3 running backs right now.
Does he? Wow. James Robinson's the number 1?
Number 3. Nick Chubb's number 1.
Chubb's number 1. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's great. Morgan has not had consistency like that in a long time. Still not jumping off the Stafford bandwagon, though. Which, I just got done saying that could be a high-scoring game on Monday night, so he's definitely hoping for that. Ja'Marr Chase going tomorrow night. We'll know a lot about Morgan's chances based off of that performance. I always like to look at the specialty positions. The better matchups I think here are probably with Nick, just because Atlanta's yet to score less than 28 points this season. And I don't think the Browns are the defense that's going to hold them down. I know they're good and I know they're scrappy, but that game's in Atlanta, and those fans have got to be pretty hyped after, the Falcons and the way they played last week. So I'll go with Nick on this one, and by hook or by crook, he's going to be 3-1.
I'm picking Chun here. He's got 2 number 1 running backs in the lineup. James Robinson, I can't believe what round did he go in our draft?
He went late, but
he's a bowling ball. All right, he's a bell cow.
8th round.
And Chubb just continues to tear it up, no matter what Kareem Hunt does. So I'm going Chun here. I think he has a better foundation than Nick.
I'm just worried that this will be the week that the Jags come down to earth in Philadelphia playing against a team that's just better than them. So
you got to have faith, bro. Are we going to the casino on Friday? We can make a lot of money on Jacksonville right now.
We good. Blaine, where do you stand?
I'm going to go with I think there's more boom potential on Morgan's team. So I'm going to go with that, actually. I think they kind of have the same floor. I think Morgan has the higher ceiling.
Okay.
I'm saying that with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, but I see Nick Chubb. I see James Robinson, against Philly. I see shootouts. I see Ja'Marr Chase against Miami. I don't know about the Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the flex. I think he has, a few other options, but I think his squad can go off.
Well, we know Morgan believes in himself, and so I doubt that we're going to see many changes. So this will probably be the lineup that we get from both these teams. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
All right.
All right. Next game, we will go to what should be really fun. Should be a high scoring affair. And that is Damn It Bobby versus Gritty Boy Swag. Two teams that we know put up points week in, week out. Bobby's projection's a little bit low right now. Camille has him by basically an entire position spot. It's over 10 points.
He lost DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, that's a big one right there. And he didn't have Jamal Williams. So it's Ramondre Stevenson in spot duty here to make up for that loss. Travis Etienne, is there on the bench. He could put Chase Edmonds in that second spot at RB and throw in another wide receiver. So there could still be some changes that happen on Bobby's team. But as it stands right now, Camille has been the buzzsaw so far of the league. If Bobby stands a chance, it's going to be on the shoulders of Joe Burrow and T. Higgins getting a lot of work done tomorrow night against Miami. We'll certainly know, and Chase Edmonds in that game. So we will know a lot about this matchup here in a short while.
Camille drafting Justin Jefferson, Jalen Waddle, and Mike Evans at the wide receiver position. I mean, I think that falls on me. That belongs in a museum.
That falls on me.
And Christian Kirk. I mean, Christian Kirk's a top 20 guy this year.
Yeah, Christian Kirk's on his fucking bench. He hasn't even seen the starting lineup.
Christian Kirk's a guy. Camille, you want to talk?
Herbert on the fucking bench.
You want to talk, Camille?
Oh, listen, I've already been trying to bend his ear. I've already been trying.
Right. Okay. Bobby, I love you. I know you're a loyal listener. I like areas of your squad. I like Juju. Juju's coming around for the Chiefs, which I like to see. Brighter days are ahead for ETN. I don't know if either of these guys can help you this week, though. I think it's Camille. And the projection of over 10 points here, it might be far greater than that by the time the games are done playing.
It'll be a huge point of conversation if Camille loses this match. That next week. So I think that it's Camille's got a nasty squad.
There's a lot more for Camille to lose than there is for Bobby to lose.
Bobby's going Camille too in the chat.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah,
Conventional wisdom, right? Okay, so next we will go to Blonde Bombers versus the Ball Hogs, Lewis versus Colin. It seems to me like on every matchup we have like 8 guys that are playing tomorrow night. I guess it's just because the Dolphins and the Bengals are such fantasy friendly teams.
Yeah. But you want some of that.
Yeah, definitely. And Lewis is definitely looking for a bounce back from a guy like Joe Mixon. We'll see what happens with Herbert. We've already talked about how he has Trevor Lawrence waiting in the wings there. But Joe Mixon tomorrow night hopefully gets Lewis's team off on the right foot. And then just about everybody else who he's starting, sans a few of his specialty positions, are going on Sunday at 10 a.m. So he's really heavy there in the morning window on Sunday with guys like A.J. Brown and Marquise Brown, Kyle Pitts, a lot of East Coast games here, Saquon Barkley. So Lewis is going to score fast and furious here, whereas, I'm just looking at Colin's team. A lot of his starters, especially if guys like McCaffrey are able to suit up, they're more spread out between basically – he has guys that are playing Sunday night in prime time, and heavy hitters too. You have guys like Rodgers who are going late, Kelsey going late, Judy playing in the late window, McCaffrey, yeah. So we're going to see these scores fluctuate a lot on Sunday. It's going to look dire probably for Colin for a while, but it's not to say that he can't make a comeback, just like he almost did this past week.
Another of Lou has Michael Thomas and Jamal Williams, who is now the starting running back in Detroit, on the bench.
Yeah, that surprises me. I bet he's
a plethora of riches on his fucking team.
Jamal
Max
Williams.
is over here just drooling at other people's benches.
Trade him now.
Jamal Williams. If I'm Lewis, I'm playing Jamal Williams over Drake London.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know. Listen, Drake looked good last week, but guess what? It was against the fucking Seahawks.
And that's who Jamal gets to play now.
Yeah.
But Blaine, I think you were totally apt last week in saying that Curtis Samuel has probably been the waiver wire ad of the year so far, and so Colin's been rolling with him ever since picking him up. The Chargers defense needs to bounce back against Houston. I probably like Colin's specialty positions and their matchups this week a little bit more, but I just don't know if it's enough firepower to contend with somebody like AJ Brown and Saquon, and no matter who Lewis puts at quarterback, right, it's going to be 20 points. So
you want the check marks at like key positions, RB, wide receiver, flex. And Lou has most of those. Another thing that I'm looking at is like just average points scored totals like that. That's another column. So, he has average and projected. So if we're wrapping this up, I think the Blonde Bombers bounce back and go 2-2 on the season.
I do as well.
I can't believe they're 1-2. I'm going Blonde Bombers.
Same. Yeah.
All right, so that brings us to our final matchup.
Oh, we just lost Colin viewing.
He's
back. Come back.
Thanks for staying around as long as you did. All right, so our final matchup, it's you and I, Blaine. We meet again, our first time since the championship last year.
Oh, yeah, this is the bowl game.
Yeah, this is the bowl game. Max, I don't know. You tell us where you think the strengths and weaknesses
Sweden.
lie.
Let us know what do you see.
Yeah.
Well, projections has it as a blowout. 10-point win.
Yeah, I know.
Leaning towards Scrappa. So we'll start with that team. Listen, Jalen Hurts, I think it was said during our draft, steal of the draft, could be an MVP candidate. If he can't get it done through the air, gets it done with his legs, right? I mean, he looks all of like the best player in fantasy this year. Lenny Fournette and Josh Jacobs. When I see those names, I think running back twos on both of them. But Lenny's been consistent. 14, 8, 10 in the first 3 weeks. Josh Jacobs, what has he had? 7, 8, 12. So he's getting better with it every week.
And no touchdown yet from him. I need him to get into the end zone.
Yeah, I would say those are probably if you have a weak spot, Alex, those are your weak. That is the hole in the hull, as they say. Michael Pittman Jr. returns this week, or did he return last week?
Yeah, he was back last week.
He was back last week. Had 9 targets, 13 the first week. Had a touchdown the first week. I'm sure he'll against Tennessee, who tends to give up a lot of points this year. I think you'll be all right there. Also, Indianapolis they're desperate. They need a win. So they're going to be looking to pour on the points.
Well, they're going to be feeling good coming off beating the Chiefs last week.
Oh, that's right. They won last week, didn't they?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And maybe yeah. So Michael Pittman's ready to get down on the party.
Party down, Michael Pittman.
Are you saying there's gonna be a Pittman party?
A Pittman party? Deontay Johnson, listen, he's a volume king. All he does is get targets. Usually catches over 50%. He's gonna be solid. He's very consistent. Pat Fairmouth, how has he been this year? Let's take a look here.
He's a top 10 tight end. I'll take it.
Yeah,
not top 5.
listen, first 2 weeks are great against Cleveland, a little short, but I mean, the Jets is such a good matchup, even though they have a good defense. But I don't know.
More volume.
Is
Give me more volume.
Trubisky still starting there in Pittsburgh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
We're not doing steel curtain talk on this pod yet.
A podcast within a podcast within a podcast within a podcast. Steel curtain. Kamara's your X factor. Can he get back online? He has had a very disappointing year so far. I think the Saints overall have had a very disappointing year so far. The defense, I thought, was supposed to be.
Their offense has had this. I think their defense has been kind of.
I think it's middle of the road right now.
Middle. Yeah.
And they were supposed to be top 5 going into the season. People were talking that the Saints defense was going to be.
They lost T.J. Watt like week 1. They've lost some.
The Saints.
Oh, Saints.
Not the Steelers.
Oh, not the steel curtain. We're not talking steel curtain.
Yeah, sorry. Yep. Saints.
Yeah, I mean, just from paying a little bit extra attention this year, since I, have Kamara here, Jameis just doesn't seem that. Jameis gets behind in the down and distance, and they can't hit him with checkdowns. And Jameis is just launching the ball 30 yards down the field. So they have to figure out a better way to stay ahead of the chains. And then I think Kamara will be fine. Yeah. So I probably just said Kamara in one sentence and Kamara in the other. I do this all the time. Alvin. Alvin just needs to show out in London, and then the whole entire team needs to get right over the bye. So I'm hoping that that's how they approach it. Is just this is our one game to try to get shit right before the bye, and then whatever we still need to work on, we have 2 weeks to figure it out. So wishful thinking.
Yeah. Looking over at Blaine's team, we've got a lot of question marks, right? Dalvin Cook, Keenan Allen, Devontae Smith. Blaine was telling me earlier that Dalvin's, what is he putting on? The shoulder?
The device.
The device.
It's kind of funny. We both have questionable running backs in that London game. So I'll see it bright and early for tea and crumpets, I guess.
Hey, cup of tea?
Yeah.
Yeah, what time does that start? Like 6 a.m.?
6 a.m.
Yeah. We'll be there.
Okay.
Keenan Allen's
shootout.
Keenan Allen's been out for what? 2 weeks now?
Oh, he's well rested. Keenan Allen has been out since week 1. He's just been using a Theragun on that fucking hammy. Just getting that shit nice and loose and ready to catch those blonde bombers,
Sutton's been great all year. Pretty solid. He is Russell's number 1 target. Dallas Goedert. I don't know what you call him. I love Dallas because I love the Philadelphia offense. Honestly,
you want a piece of it, man.
Well, I'm hoping to shut it down. This week.
Doing it.
But listen, anything that Dallas gets, it's coming from Jalen. So that kind of cancels each other out there.
And Devonta. We have 2 Philly wide receivers there.
That's very true. A lot of the passes from Jalen are going to go straight to Blaine's team.
Come.
Listen, if you guys had any balls, you would bench your whole teams except for Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts.
I've heard that's been done. Yeah, I've heard that's the thing. Done.
I saw it happen live last week, and so if you guys want to do that, then listen, I'm leaning. I'm leaning towards Alex. I'm leaning towards Alex here. I think Blaine finally gets a loss. He goes 3-1 here. Alex goes 3-1. I think these two might be a championship matchup. Right?
If I was ever going to do the QB versus QB thing, I would want it to be against you, Blaine, because it just feels right. We've had some pretty epic battles in the past, and Mahomes and Hurts.
I think we might have the record for like the highest scoring game because I think I scored like 140 or 150 one time, and you scored like 170 that week.
Yeah, I
It was
remember
just
that.
like insane.
I
Yeah.
remember that. But to that point, this league is far too competitive, and we need all the points for that we can get. So I'm not doing that QB versus QB thing in this league.
Well, I know that's because someone in that league left a big old goose egg or something. They left like a wide receiver that went on a Thursday that got 19, and they were just bitter about it. So they just wanted to scrap it all and
go for QB. That proved to be a bit reckless because that. Oh no!
I'm good. You're back.
Are we good?
You're back.
We're good. Yep. Okay. Yeah, and that was reckless. That was reckless because that was the Mahomes owner, and as discussed in front of the entire
and it was Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, wasn't it? It was actually this matchup.
It was this matchup.
And Jalen Hurts went off and had a great game.
Jalen's got the rushing, so it's kind of a fool's bet to go against him unless it's maybe somebody like Lamar actually. But no, this is tough. I mean, you have question marks, but as of right now, my team is just it's just a floor team. Like everyone's averaging around 10 points, which is great, and Jalen's just been balling out and put me above that like 115 mark. So hopefully I can get that again. I do like my matchups this week, so I mean I'll take myself, but it's with a big grain of salt because if I don't get those touchdowns, I could easily see a loss as well because I think your team's more prone to finding the end zone.
Yeah.
And I love the Alex Highsmith pickup, leading the NFL in sacks. So good on you for grabbing him.
I've had three Pittsburgh defensive players. I have TJ Watt on my IR, and then I had Fitz.
Yeah, Minka. Yeah.
Minka Fitzpatrick, and then
Fitzminka.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with myself, obviously, but I think it's a tight matchup. The one thing I see going for myself is I have like the higher average, but it's like projected it's a blowout. So you have the higher floor, and I have a boom bust team. Commissioner, we were talking. I'm 3-0, but it's a scrappy 3-0, and so I'll scrap against the scrappa.
Scrap against the scrappa. All right. Well, that does it. Went a little long today, but that's okay. Had some fun with it.
We had 2 podcasts within the podcast, so
that's right. True. That's right.
That's true.
And we did Reader's Digest at the beginning, and told you all about our life and everything. So that was fun as well. But yeah, so whether or not you're watching on the Chatter Network YouTube page or you're listening to the audio feed, make sure to follow all the other great shows on the network, subscribe to the YouTube page, all that fun stuff. Another lively cast of characters will be back next week. Can't promise that it'll be us, but this has been a lot of fun. So for now, I will sign off.
Cheers, y'all.
Later, football heads.